Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are going to be talking about brain degeneration and what are the things that we can do to help ourselves. This comes from an article by Dr. Jocker. It's the brain degeneration, the causes, symptoms, and solutions. If you have any questions, Dr. Udani is welcome to answer all of your questions. Just give her a quick text. I wanted to welcome Dr. Udani. She's our naturopathic doctor here at Justine Blainey Wellness Center and my naturopathic doctor. So she is extremely passionate about a variety of different issues, and she has such a compassionate way and approach to being able to isolate and really listen and then be able to help really get to understand what is happening within your body, because she really believes that individuals genuinely believes that everyone has the ability to make healthy and long-lasting changes. Please help me welcome Dr. Udani.
Thank you so much, Angela. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this really wonderful talk we're going to have tonight. Before we do that, let's talk a little bit about our upcoming webinars. So we have one on the lymphatic system and how it can help your brain. So we're doing like two amazing talks on brain health, and we have one about fasted exercise and understanding the powerful impact on our bodies with Dr. Justine. There's going to be healthy summer salad that I'll be making a video of that I want you all to tune in and hopefully try to make. And there's also going to be a workshop about how to combat chemicals and all the toxins that we're exposed to every day. So lots of exciting things coming up in this month and next month. So let's jump right in to this talk today, which is on brain degeneration, the causes, the symptoms, and the solutions. So we're going to just dive right in. So our brain is such a powerful organ. It is the command center, of our body. It's what drives our actions, our thoughts, our feelings, our memory, our mood, and even our mental energy. So it's such an important organ. And what's unfortunately happening is that there is rising number of people developing Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, and other neurological illnesses that can be prevented if we really look into preventing brain degeneration. So one of the other things is that it's a serious problem, and this can happen over time. So you might notice that, if you're just noticing, oh, I go upstairs and I don't really remember what I came for, that's if it's just here and there, that's not a huge deal. But let's say this is happening to you every single day, and then you're also forgetting directions to go to places, or you're forgetting people's faces and names really easily. This might not be just you, it might be your loved ones, especially your parents that are getting older. These are actually things that can be warning signs of brain degeneration. So signs of dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's definitely can develop and worsen as you get older. But sometimes there could be genetic issues that can start earlier as well. So, if you look at just the statistics, in the US alone, there's 5 million people that are affected by Alzheimer's disease. And when we think about this doesn't just affect the person, right? It affects the people that are around this person as well, the family members, their children, because, everybody gets affected when, their loved one is going through something like this. So this is why we really want to learn how to slow down brain degeneration. So let's jump into what it really is. So, our brain is it's a pretty big organ. It's protected by our skull, as it should be, right? It is a very important organ. And it has the brain matter. So in normal, healthy person, the brain matter is, really like big and large. There's lots of neurons, nerve networks, and, it's good. But when you have degeneration of the brain, what happens is that brain matter starts to shrink. So when it's shrinking, you don't necessarily have as many neurons firing. You don't have as much support and circulation into the brain tissue. And this is where the symptoms of Alzheimer's or dementia can manifest. So this is what we want to slow down. We don't want the brain matter to be shrinking. We want it to be the nice and normal size brain, because that's how we know, okay, we're going to be okay. So what are some symptoms of brain degeneration or the slowing down? So this can be really vague. Some symptoms can be really vague, like memory loss, forgetting things, feeling confused about where you are, or understanding who you, like even sometimes you don't know the people around you. Mood changes can be a big thing too. So, even things like anxiety, depression can be a sign of brain degeneration or inflammation. And sometimes there's loss of inhibition. What we mean by that is, sometimes you just like say whatever that's on your mind, or there might even be aggression as well. Anxiety, depression, so having not feeling like you want to do anything, life is not joyful, and agitation can also be signs of brain degeneration. So, usually what the traditional model of medicine can do is, it's just, there's really no cure for this. It's more like preventing it and slowing down the development of this. So, but there are different levels to the impairment of cognitive impairment. So for example, it can last from years, so it's usually, if it's like short-term memory loss, that could just be small things. So, this is something to really kind of keep an eye on, especially if you have older patients or older parents, because, sometimes like they might forget that where they left the keys, or they might have forgotten where their groceries are. And these are things to really keep in your mind, because we don't want this to keep progressing. Because, with Alzheimer's, that's one of the things that can happen is, as you get older, the degeneration worsens, and you can really have this happening in just like the whole brain, and things like even visual problems or recognition of people or objects, directional sense, these can all be signs of this. So this is why we're going to jump into how we can prevent this. So first, we got to figure out the major causes of brain degeneration. These are blood sugar imbalances, environmental toxicity, having a sedentary lifestyle, not being super active, being a couch potato, chronic stress, poor sleep, and the gut. Of course, there's a big connection with the gut health and your brain. So let's jump right into the first major cause, which is blood sugar imbalances. So this might sound like a little bit of random. How is high blood sugar affecting your brain? But actually, Alzheimer's is considered type 3 diabetes. So that's because blood sugar and insulin really drives up inflammation in the brain. So how do you know if we might have high blood sugar? This is where testing is very important, but also if your diet is highly processed in carbs and lots of sugar, and it's low in vegetables, healthy fats, and clean protein, this can really spike up your blood sugar levels and imbalance. So you might notice actually, even when you have a really high carb meal, you actually get this something called food coma afterwards, where you feel really tired and just like you need to take a nap. That is actually one of the examples of how high blood sugar can cause your brain to kind of tire out and cause brain fog. And you might even notice when you're too hungry, you get hangry, you get the anger, you feel a little snappy, irritable. That's also one of the reasons how blood sugar imbalance can affect your brain. Now, think about this happening for years or over time. Your brain is going to really feel these effects. And, so even if you eat like a piece of a pastry, it's going to give you a burst of energy, but then you will notice that you crash like 2 hours later. So this is where the blood sugar imbalances can really affect your mood. And figuring it out in your diet and through testing is really important. Number 2 is environmental toxicity. So our brain is composed of mostly fatty tissue, right? It's composed mostly fatty tissue. And unfortunately, fat tends to attract toxins. So neurotoxins, especially, which are toxins that can damage the brain by damaging the nerves. So toxins are all around us in our polluted air, in our waters, in the food we eat, the pesticides, the skincare products that we use, the perfume. So it is very overwhelming. I understand, because sometimes you can't really clear yourself of all of these things. But there are things that we can do to minimize our toxin levels, which we'll talk about later. But what these neurotoxins, and of course heavy metals is another neurotoxin, they can lead to brain problems, brain fog, irritability, fatigue, anxiety, and other mental health issues. So this is a very important aspect of what we're exposed to from our environment that we want to minimize as much as possible. Number 3 is the sedentary lifestyle. So this is where we are just, let's say I'll give you an example. This is my mother. She tends to go to work. She's driving for, an hour, and then she's sitting at work for 8 hours, and she comes home and she's tired, and now she's sitting on the couch for, 3-4 hours. So it is a very, there's not much activity. You're just sitting for quite a long time. And this is not good for your brain. It is that your brain needs the oxygen. It loves the exercise. It loves when you do strength training. It loves it when you do cardio, because that's really important for oxygenation of the brain. It helps it heal. And when you leave a sedentary lifestyle, you can actually increase your risk of memory problems. You can even increase your risk of course, blood clots and things like that, because you're sitting for so long. You can have low back problems. There can be kind of a decreased brain function, because you're always just kind of running in autopilot, which we also don't want. So what I've been doing, and what my family has been doing, is to force her, to go for walks. And she's actually learned that walking is really enjoyable, and it's become a daily habit in her life. So one of the things is, the brain learns. It's a wonderful, and it knows when something is right, as long as you do it repeatedly. So any habit, good or bad, if you do it repeatedly, your brain will adapt it. So bad habits are, of course, we don't want too many, but good habits, we can adapt it very, very easily too. And this is why it's important to, move your body at least 3 times a week. Now let's go to number 4, which is chronic stress and poor sleep habits. Of course, stress is a big no-no, but let's be honest, we all feel it. Life can get tough. We can experience different kinds of stress. And sometimes, the stress is long-term. And really, when there's too much stress in the body, of course, over time, it leads to wear and tear. You might feel like you're burnt out. They might have trouble with even taking deep breaths, because you're just always in this fight or flight mode. But what happens when there's too much stress, and that's a chronic, is you get lots of cortisol being built up in your body. And of course, we've heard of cortisol, we've done many talks on it as well. And cortisol tends to really affect your body. It can increase your weight, make you crave sweets, make you crave carbs, but it can also really impact your brain too, especially your memory. So if you're chronically stressed, you might notice that you're not able to remember things as much. And that makes sense, because, when you're stressed, your body thinks you're in fight or flight. So it doesn't necessarily want to remember things. It wants to survive, right? So this is why lowering your cortisol levels is a huge, huge thing. And of course, going with cortisol and chronic stress is it starts to affect our sleep, right? And I'm sure, if you're going through a lot of stress, sometimes you are just so wired, and even though you're really tired, you can't sleep. You're tossing and turning, and it takes a long time for you to fall asleep. And so that's a sign of chronic stress. If you want to go back on one more slide, I'll talk about some of the other signs of chronic stress, which is teeth grinding. So actually, you're not, if you wake up with a very sore jaw, that's a potential sign of that you've been grinding your teeth, and that's been really stressed. You've been having a stressful time. Anger, anxiety, road rage, those are signs of chronic stress. Stomach problems, of course, if you have diarrhea or excess gas and bloating, those are signs of chronic symptoms of stress as well. Decreased sex drive, just fatigue, and even things like skin irritations like eczema, acne can be signs of chronic stress, because stress affects the whole body. So the brain, the heart, the lungs, everything gets affected by stress. And stress really slows down your healing abilities. So that's why we want to really, really get to the root cause of stress and get that fixed. Now, the other thing is poor sleep. So sleep is so important for the regeneration of our bodies, the organs, and just our body in general. So if you experience poor sleep, and what I mean by this is less than 6 hours, and it's not restful, good sleep where you're not tossing and turning, then it really starts to affect your sleep. And we have a great talk coming up on the lymphatic system, which is the system that the self-cleaning system of the brain that gets activated when we are sleeping. So when we're not sleeping well, because of stress or chronic inflammation, or maybe we're doing shift work, it really slows down our lymphatic system. Then that causes our brain to experience brain fog, memory trouble, mood swings. Like, I'm sure if we've all had those days where we're running on fumes, all right? We had 2-3 hours of sleep, and you really feel it the next day. You feel like everything is just so much more of a challenge, and you might be drinking 2-3 cups of coffee just to maintain yourself. So poor sleep is a huge thing. Number 5 is gut infections and dysbiosis. So this is so important because your gut is considered your second brain, so there's a huge connection between your gut and your brain. And this happens, when there's stressful events, but this communication is ongoing, this long term, and it's a huge connection. So the gut bacteria, if you have a healthy gut bacteria in your microbiome, it increases anti-inflammatory molecules that actually can travel to the brain and can reduce brain inflammation and help with brain degeneration. It actually travels through the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in the body. It's called the wandering nerve. Goes from your brain all the way into your heart and the gut. And this is this huge highway where the gut and the brain communicate. So if you might notice that if you have gut problems, you might develop anxiety or depression. Or if you have gut problems like, IBS, for example, there's a huge connection with that and how your anxiety develops and your depression develops. So the gut and the brain are highly connected. And, it's very important that we maintain a healthy gut. So let's talk about, now we talked about the causes, and we want to talk about the solutions, because we're all about solutions here, because, we're about prevention and finding the solutions that you can adapt every day, even if it's one small habit that you adapt every day, or you can even help your parents or your loved ones adapt, that can stop brain degeneration and increase brain regeneration. So let's jump right in. Number 1 is, of course, we gotta fix our foundations, right? We have to fix our diet. Now, we want to add lots of colors. So brain loves antioxidants, and antioxidants are high in colorful food. So berries, lots of vegetables, lots of herbs and spices. And you can even add, of course, we want healthy fats. Okay, because the brain is composed of mostly fatty tissue. So we want to add lots of healthy fats into our diet. So this is things like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, ghee, organic, grass-fed beef, eggs, free-range eggs, things like, fatty wild-caught salmon. These are so good for the brain, and it's so needed. We also want antioxidants in the form of tea. So green tea is really amazing as well. And want to add herbs like turmeric, ginger. Turmeric actually can cross the blood-brain barrier and can reduce inflammation in the brain. So it's an amazing herb to have in your diet. So lots of greens, lots of colors, lots of healthy fats will reduce the inflammation. And we want to really avoid as much of those inflammatory foods. So the white bread, the white rice, and the deep fried fatty foods, because and also takeout, because all of those takeout foods are not made healthy. They're made to make you feel more addicted to unhealthy food, and we want to really get you into the anti-inflammatory foods. Number 2 is intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is amazing for many, many, many reasons, because it's a way that your body kind of self-repairs. It helps to fluff out unhealthy cells or aging cells, and actually can increase your insulin sensitivity, so it can help balance your blood sugar and also increase your the healthy cells, the function of those healthy cells. So intermittent fasting is a great way. Usually we say, when you're just starting off, just start with a simple fast, which is about 12 hours. So most of the time, most people do it after dinner time. And that way you're sleeping for most of those hours, and then you just kind of have a later breakfast. Then you can do a brunch fast, which is 14 hours. Then you can do a crescendo fast, which is 16 hours. You don't need to do this every day. This could be done just 2 days a week. And sometimes, when you work yourself up to it, people can even do as much as a 1-day fast. Now, this is not for everybody, of course. This is more for if you really want to work yourself up to this level. And if you're having a lot of stress, I do not recommend you start at the, a warrior fast, which is 19 hours. That's going to be too stressful for the body. You want to start slow. So something like a 12-hour fast is a great way to do that. And you can still drink lots of water, lots of herbal teas, and you can add coffee with no milk and no sugar, just plain coffee. These do not affect your fasting. So you can drink lots of these fluids. Number 3 is getting into ketosis from time to time. So ketones versus glucose. So ketones think of it like a different energy source for your body. It's like if you think about cars, right? Glucose is like petrol. Ketones is like electric vehicles. They're just two different energy sources. One is, of course, a lot more cleaner. The brain likes the ketones more because glucose makes it go a little crazy, as we talked about before. So ketones help with flushing out those cells that don't work as well anymore. It can really improve your mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cells, gives you the energy for the cells to work and function. And, you can do this by either going on the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting. Now, this is where you really want to get support. You want to have a coach on your side, because going through ketosis and starting the ketogenic diet can be stressful and challenging. So this is where you want to have someone on your team that can give you proper advice and guide you through this process. Number 4 is, of course, making sure you have a good night's sleep. Sleep is just so amazing. It is so underappreciated, And tips for a great night's sleep is, if you can keep your rooms cooler, that tends to help lower your body temperature and make you feel a little bit more cozy. Keep your room dark as possible. So having those blackout curtains, this is really helpful, especially if you're doing night shifts and shift work. Using a sleep mask. Now there are such things as a weighted sleep mask, which really helps you feel more relaxed and gets you ready for bed. And you really want to avoid stimulants. So Red Bull, caffeine, even stimulating supplements like B vitamins before you go to bed. Try not to eat within 3 hours of sleeping, because once again, that blood sugar imbalance can make you feel a little bit more wide awake and hyper. Getting enough sun during the day increases your feel-good neurochemical serotonin, which gets converted to melatonin at night. So melatonin helps you fall asleep faster. And exercising regularly, not too late at night, because once again, exercise can make you feel a little bit more awake. But if you're exercising regularly, that can really help your body train and affect the circadian rhythm. And you want to avoid bright light at nighttime. So even when you're going on your phone, and I highly recommend, please do not do any doom scrolling on your phone before you go to bed, because that is not good for your brain. It keeps your brain wide awake. You want to, at least 30 minutes to an hour before you go to bed, you want to just shut off all things, maybe play some calming music to help you get ready for bed. And so, like it says, winding down is really important to get some good night's sleep too. Number 5 is reducing that stress and practicing gratitude. So stress, we deal with it every day. It's something that, we can't necessarily escape from. Life can be stressful, right? There could be periods of a lot of stress. But what can really help is adding in things that can make you feel gratitude and practice gratitude. Because when we practice gratitude, we're actually telling our brain, and we're telling our body, and giving our body the right signal, saying things are going to be okay. There's still things that are good that's happening in my life. So it's calming down that stress. People who are grateful, and so this is a practice once again, you want to practice gratitude just like as much as you're practicing, working out or eating a healthy breakfast. So one of the easiest things I love doing is going for nature walks or having positive self-talk. So, and even affirmations can be so, so powerful. I also do a practice where I start the day off with 3 things I'm excited for the day. And then I end the day with 3 things I'm grateful for that happen in this day. So when you already wire your brain to practice gratitude, those neural pathways become highways. It gets easier as time goes on. So practicing gratitude, lowering your stress by doing going to nature walks or breath work and relaxation can really help your brain. Regular movement and exercise, of course, your brain loves movement and exercise. It wants it, it craves it. So please, even if you can do 20 to 30 minutes of just even walking, but a strict walk, a brisk walk in the neighborhood, especially after a meal, really helps your brain and even your heart rate as well. And you want to make a commitment to this, every day. Try to, let's say, instead of taking this elevator to go to work, you take the stairs. Or if you are going grocery shopping, instead of parking right next to the grocery store, park a little bit farther away. So you're walking at least a little bit more. So there's simple things like that can help. And of course, you can have set times where you're working out at the gym, or you're doing some home workouts that can really help with your brain support, because it improves your endorphins. It makes you feel happy, improves your mood, and increases your mental clarity and your memory. And of course, increases your oxygenation of the whole body. And so this is why, when you do the movements of walking, you activate your brain's other pathways that, your brain has. So even when you're doing the movements, you're increasing your, there's neurotrophic factors. So these are factors that can help grow healthy neurons, increase the communication links in the brain, the neuron firing. So this is really important because your brain is an organ, and it can change. There is neuroplasticity in the brain. The brain is plastic. It can mold. It can change for the better if we continue these habits. So things that can increase these neurotropic factors that help your brain health is things we just talked about. Getting enough sleep, having those low sugar, high protein, high fat foods in your diet, lots of movement, lots of exercise, and reducing chronic stress. These all help your brain regenerate. Number 7 is, of course, we want to support our gut health, right? Gut is the second brain. And when we have, and this is something I do with a lot of my patients. So if you are having a lot of gut issues, please, you can talk to me or another naturopath, but just go and talk to somebody that is well-versed in how we can improve your gut health and support it. Because your gut is so closely connected to your brain and brain health. And once we improve gut health, it really can improve your brain health. Some things you can add right now is probiotics. So things that can help your good gut bacteria flourish. So these are nutrient-dense veggies, healthy fats, probiotic-rich foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, and kefir can really help you get a jump start in your gut health right away. So, and number 8 is reducing your toxin load. So, you want to buy organic food as much as possible. And of course, sometimes this can be a little bit expensive. So, even if you do, if you go and check, search up the Dirty Dozen on Google, there will be a list of foods, 12 foods that are the highest in pesticides. So if you can even get organic for the top 3 or all of these foods, that would significantly lower your pesticide exposure. You can also remove conventional beauty, body, household products, and you can replace them with organic, homemade alternatives. Baking soda is amazing, or a natural alternative for cleaning supplies. You can drink toxin-free water. This can be done through having a good filter system in your body, in the water, and spending as much time in nature as possible, because we're surrounded by so much technology, so much phones and things like that. That we need nature to help detox, get us a tech detox as well. And sauna. So one of my favorite ways that your body can detox is good old sweating. Okay. So using infrared sauna to induce sweating, or even if you're working out and exercising, you're sweating out those toxins and you're actually helping your liver detox things much faster too. And you want to try different things, so your brain loves to learn. Your brain loves to create different neural pathways that can help itself be more efficient. And one of the other things we can do is, you try different things to kind of challenge your brain. Your brain needs to be a little challenged because that's how it learns. That's how it figures out different ways. So even things like crossword puzzles, or using your non-dominant hand to do things like, even if you're blow drying your hair or brushing your teeth or doing cleaning, that really helps to kind of challenge your brain and help it work better. Balancing on one leg, and try this, of course, with, make sure you're safe, but you can try with your eyes closed, because that adds a different aspect to it. Trying a new different instrument, learning a different language, barefoot walking, journaling is really good. So something that my mom does is she does Sudoku before she goes to bed. So that really helps her. It's like a mental game, and it helps her to keep herself sharp. You can even do things like, go visiting a farmer's market, because you want to see all the different shapes and different colors of foods, and just introducing different things into your diet is in itself an aerobic exercise. Sometimes something I like to do is, I don't like to take the same route to work every day. I'll take different routes. So that way I'm learning, I'm adapting, and I'm, because my directional sense is not good at all. I get lost easily. So this is something that I challenge myself all the time to remember where the locations and where I'm supposed to go. So little things like this, when you adapt it every single day, your brain really learns to develop new neural pathways. And number 10 is magnesium. So magnesium is something that I recommend to basically every single, all of my patients to take, because it is such an amazing mineral. It is so wonderful for lots of parts in the body, not just for the brain, for your mood, your muscles, your digestion. And it is, unfortunately, we don't really get a lot of it from our diet, because there's depleted soil quality. So we don't necessarily get a lot of that, the magnesium, into our food as it's growing. And a lot of us don't really eat, tends to eat a lot of fruits, veggies that can be high in it. But the foods that are natural sources of magnesium are spinach, almonds, avocado. So avocado is a great one because it has healthy fats and it's high in magnesium. Kale, pumpkin seeds. So some seeds tend to be good in magnesium as well. And dark chocolate. So dark chocolate is anything higher than 60%. So please do not go for milk chocolate. Go for the dark chocolate, which is high in magnesium. And if you have a sweet tooth, if you are craving sugar, you actually may be depleted in magnesium, because it takes a lot of magnesium to actually process sugar in the body. So when we don't have enough magnesium, it's gonna affect all other parts of the body. Same thing with stress. Stress depletes magnesium. So we need magnesium for so many different, over 800 different enzyme reactions in the body. So, but if it's being depleted, our brain's not getting enough of it. So it's very important to use to add into your supplement regime if you haven't done it already. Omega-3 fatty acids is, of course, another huge thing. So once, like I said before, your brain loves healthy fats. So we want to add in healthy fats like omega-3s to reduce inflammation. And it's incredible for brain health, can help with calming down that inflammation, because it is the inflammation that leads to the degeneration, right? Inflammation is the root cause of so many chronic health conditions. So wild caught fish, having it at least 3 times a week is a great way. A serving size is about the size of your hand, like a length of the hand. But if this is not possible, then good quality fish oil supplements can also be great. Now, there's lots of supplements out there, so it can be confusing. So this is where it's a good idea to speak to a naturopath, because we can let you know what is a good quality supplement and to recommend the right dose for you, so you're also getting good money for your good product for your money. And you want to use things that can help boost your mitochondria, which is, of course, what produces energy in the body, and your brain. When you're experiencing brain fog or fatigue, we need a bit of a boost for the mitochondrial health. So there's lots of supplements that can help with mitochondrial health, but we want to get to the root cause of why is your mitochondria acting funny or not acting optimally. So this can, of course, be a whole other topic on itself, but there's lots of nutrients that can help, including fatty acids, omega-3s. The magnesium can really help with the mitochondrial health. Quercetin, green tea, B vitamins. Once again, a lot of in-depth things that can help the mitochondria. So speak to your naturopath, speak to a qualified practitioner to figure out what can help for you. So one of the other things, the bonus one, is if you want to consider hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So this is where you go into this chamber and there is oxygen almost like being infused into your body. So this can improve tissue healing and recovery, boost your supply of stem cells and just circulation, and can even slow down cancer growth and promote new nerve growth. New nerves is always good in the brain, new neural connections, and it can strengthen your mitochondria and just really clear out those cells that are the zombie cells that are not being responsive to our body's natural detox systems. So this is, of course, a bonus option, but everything else we just talked about beforehand are so easy to adapt and into our day-to-day lives. So let's keep our brains healthy, because it is so important to have healthy brains. Brain degeneration is a serious issue and it can affect everybody. So this is why, and it doesn't have to be something like Alzheimer's or dementia. It could even be simple everyday things like brain memory problems, mood changes and confusion, anxiety, depression can all be signs of brain degeneration. So this is why it's really important to prioritize our brain. It is our control center, and it really can be done through these natural solutions that we just discussed. So I hope that, and we really want to remember that the nervous system is really the driving system in the body. It affects so many different parts of our organs. So it's very important that we prioritize it. So I hope that you had a lovely time listening to this topic. It was lots of information, and if you have any questions, of course, you can send me a text as well. Some of the upcoming webinars we have another really great topic on how to help your brain with the lymphatic system. So please tune in for that. What is fasted exercise and how it can be powerful for our body. Healthy summer salad with myself, and combating chemicals, how we can detox and defend our well-being. So lots of exciting talks coming up, and we'd love for you to connect with us. We always love good feedback and reviews and things and even topic ideas that you'd like us to talk about. This is coming from our hearts to you, just information we want to share. And feel free to connect with us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or our website. All right, have a lovely evening, and we'll see you next time.